Hey guys, it's Daniel. Welcome back.
The following is from Keith Richards' biography, Life. If you would like to see my interview with Rolling Stones recording engineer Tapani Tallo, where he talks about the making of It's Only Rock and Roll, stories about Mick Taylor, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, and more, the link is available below. As per the Keith Richards quote, here it is. Quote, I first met Brian Jones at the Erling Jazz Club. He was calling himself Elmo Lewis. At the time, he wanted to be Elmore James. At the time, slide guitar was a real novelty in England, and Brian played it that night. He played Dust My Broom, and it was electrifying. He played it beautifully. We were very impressed with Brian. I think Mick was the first one to go up and talk to him and discovered that he had his own band, most of whom deserted him in the next few weeks. One night, Ian Stewart had gone down to the Ealing Club because he'd seen an ad Brian Jones had placed in the Jazz News in the spring of '62 for players wanting to start an R&B band. Brian and Stu started rehearsing with a bunch of different musicians. Everyone would chip in £2 for an upstairs room in a pub. He'd seen Mick and me at the Ealing Club doing a couple of numbers and invited us along. In fact, to give Mick his due, Stu remembered that Mick had been coming already to his rehearsals, and Mick said, I'm not doing it if Keith's not doing it. And so I started with him, and he says, you're not going to play that rock and roll stuff, are you? Stu had massive reservations, and he was suspicious of rock and roll. I go, yeah, and then I started to play some Chuck Berry. And he's, oh, you know Johnny Johnson, who was Chuck Berry's piano player, and we started to swing the hash boogie woogie. That's all we did. And then the other guys slowly started to turn up. It wasn't just Mick and Brian Jones, however. Jeff Bradford, a lovely slide blues guitar player who used to play with Cyril Davies. Brian Knight, a blues fan, and his big number was Walk On, Walk On. He had that down and that was it. So Stu could have played with all these other cats, and actually we were third in line for this setup. Mick and I were brought in as maybes, tryouts. These cats were playing clubs with Alexis Corner. We were brand new in town in those terms. Yet somehow, all these other blues players fell away, and it was myself, Mick Jagger, Ian Stewart, Brian Jones, and Dick Taylor remaining.